What's going on, everyone? So, Christian Wood had his little introductory conference yesterday and was answering questions and having conversation. And it was great to kind of see his spirits, like him facing the media, answering questions, seeing him excited and pumped to be a Laker and talking about, his childhood growing up, idolizing Lakers, all that stuff, right? It's the typical, like, oh, we got this new player and now they're talking about how Lakers are everything and this, that, and the other, right? We've seen many players have these conversations, and it just all sunshines and rainbows in that conference, and then we'll see what the end result is, right? And Christian Wood, there's no doubt he is an excellent player. Like, the questions aren't whether he's a good player or not. The questions are, can he buy in and play within the team? Can he be another piece in this championship level roster that could be the difference and the player that makes the impact, right? If he can be, then that's going to be massive for the Lakers going forward. I mean, you're talking about a 17-8 guy, a guy that can play multiple positions, do multiple things, shoots 38% from three, can basically knock it down from anywhere. You can run so many pick and pops with this guy. Like, there is just so much promise and potential with Christian Wood and this Laker roster. But he has to be willing to buy in. He's going to have to be okay doing what is ever asked of him. And one of the big things that he's talked about is just the communication, right? He said that was his big issue with Dallas, is that, there was no communication. He was promised and told all this stuff, and there was changes to those promises, but there was never a conversation about it. No one ever told him. It was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not playing today, or I guess I'm only playing this, or I guess, I'm not starting. I am coming off the bench. Where, it seems like he's happy to be on an organization that is being transparent up front, telling him what is expected of him, telling him, what type of role he's supposed to have. And him and his relationship with Darvin Ham is very important. And that was one of the big things that he talked about in this. So Christian Wood said, he called me every day in free agency. I could say that now. Believe it or not, we have a good relationship. Christian Wood talking about Darvin Ham. And I mean, it is very believable. They have a relationship that dates back to when he was on Milwaukee, right? So there is that dialogue. There is that relationship. And it appears that Darvin Ham was a big part of bringing Christian Wood to the Lakers. I mean, we knew the conversations that they had, him and Rob Pelinka and stuff, and like what was expected of him in his role, right? We knew that. I mean, Christian Wood relayed that when he signed, that like, hey, Darvin Ham was very transparent, basically told me what my role is going to be, how that's going to look. And they promised me that, I'd have an opportunity to earn a potential starting role. But even if I don't get a starting role, I'm still going to play big minutes. I'm still going to have a big role, right? Which he should and likely will, right? Like, the only person he really has to outplay is Jackson Hayes, and he's a better player than Jackson Hayes. So he's going to get minutes at the 4. He's going to get plenty of minutes at the 5. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going to miss 20-plus games, this year. So in those games, he's going to get probably even a bigger role, and those are the games that he probably plays 30 minutes a game in those games, right? But for the most part, I imagine he'll probably be in like the 20 to 25-minute range, right? Anthony Davis will probably play spot minutes at the center. Maybe he starts at the center, maybe he closes at the center. But outside of that, I think, you have 48 minutes. Let's say 80 plays 10 minutes a game at the center position. Christian Wood could play 25 minutes at the center position, and you'd still have Hayes getting, 13 minutes a game, right? Or maybe Wood plays 20 minutes at the 5 and 5 to 7 minutes at the 4 or something like that, right? And you have these interchangeable mix and matches. But regardless, the thing about Darvin Ham is he is very open. He's a guy that has you believing that you can run through a wall for him, right? He's a guy that has you fully bought in and committed to whatever it is. I mean, he even got Russell Westbrook to completely change his game and change the way that he goes about the game of basketball, right? And so I fully expect Darvin Ham to have him sort of locked in, focused, and understanding like, hey, this is how things are going to go. This is how we're going to handle things. This is what I'm going to expect for you. If things change, then we'll have that conversation. But I need you to buy in. I need you to play both sides of the basketball, right? Like, there's a lot of talk about Christian Wood being a bad defensive player. He's really not that bad. I'm not going to go into it too much on this video just because I did an entire video dedicated to Christian Wood and breaking down all of his defense. And, you know, if you're interested in how good Christian Wood is defensively, I'll link that video down in the description. Or you could just search it on the channel because YouTube changed their little link thing, so it's a little weird now. But regardless, like the point being is that Christian Wood, he's not Anthony Davis level defensively. And he's never really been on a good defensive team, right? Like Dallas expected him to basically be Anthony Davis, right? They had a terrible defensive team and they wanted him to be the defensive anchor. You're not going to have success there. But if he's a complementary cog in the defensive scheme, then he's more than capable of holding his own and being a good defensive player. He's a good blindside defender. He's a good perimeter defender. He's really good at kind of giving space and using his length to close out on shooters and smaller players. He struggles with the size. That's the problem. And if he's your main line of defense and your main rim deterrent, you're probably in trouble. Right? Can he do it in a spot? Sure. But if you have Christian Wood out there, you're probably running him alongside a Jackson Hayes or an Anthony Davis. So you're going to have that weak side help. You're going to have that blind side help. You're going to have guys out in the perimeter that are going to be able to funnel the offensive player to Christian Wood rather than just like getting blown by. Right? Jared Vanderbilt's excellent at that. Of like, you know, hey, I'm not going to get blown by. And even if he does get blown by, he's so good at recovering and cutting off that lane that if Christian Wood just stays where he needs to be, Vando's going to lead him there. And then he's going to be there to be that deterrent with his 7'3" wingspan. Christian Wood is going to be in an excellent place defensively with this Lakers team. And Darvin Ham, I fully expect him to help kind of integrate him into that defensive scheme. There's no questions about him offensively. He's going to be an excellent offensive player. He's a guy that on any night could go and give you 20 to 30 points and no one would be surprised whatsoever. And that's important. Like, that's the beauty of this Lakers roster. The Lakers literally have like 6 guys that could go off for 30 on any night. You got LeBron and AD, obviously. You have Austin Reeves, D'Lo, Rui, and Christian Wood. All 6 of those guys are capable of giving you at least 20 plus any given night. I mean, LeBron and AD obviously could go get you 30 every night if you wanted them to. D'Lo gave us a 30-point game last year. We've seen Reeves go off for 30. We've seen Rui get 30 or close to 30. We've seen all these guys do that. And Christian Wood has even had big monster games. I mean, he like killed us last time we played him. I mean, he looked like AD out there on the defensive end. When the problem is again, like I mentioned earlier, can he stay locked in? Can he stay focused? Can he buy in on both sides of the basketball? Because, again, he can score. There's no questions the guy can score the basketball. But we need you out there being a 7'3" wingspan type player. We need you to be that deterrent. He's going to benefit greatly from having guys like Anthony Davis and having guys like Jared Vanderbilt and just having all the size around him, right? Like, we're going to be great defensively by committee, right? Because we have all this size, all this switchability, all this length. Like, that's going to be important. Like, he's not going to have to be the only defensive guy out there, right? I don't see Darvin Ham putting him out there where he's basically the only guy that has to be a defender, right? You're probably going to have him out there with a Gabe Vincent who can defend, with a Jared Vanderbilt who can defend, right? And maybe have like a Cam Reddish who can defend. Like, you're going to have him, Taurean Prince, right? Like, you're going to have him with other guys that can make an impact on the defensive side, so he's not going to have to be the only guy defensively. And if that happens, I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to exceed expectations this year, at least on the defensive end. And I mean, I look, if he buys in, plays his role, and is committed, then he's going to get paid next year. He is. He has the opportunity in front of him. He's just got to see it through, execute it, and do it properly. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of Christian Wood? How do you feel about his comments and Darvin Ham kind of getting him, and him appears to be the difference maker as far as why he's there? How do you feel about that? Love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.